Hello, I'm Sherry Sterman, Director of Crayola Education. We're excited that Harper Kids is collaborating with Crayola on this Art of Learning program. Art helps children learn about themselves and others. Today, we're going to explore what we can learn from shoes, especially the magical shoes that sometimes hang above us on the street. So gather your friends and family, grab some art supplies, and get ready for a hands-on learning session. I'm thrilled to introduce C.G. Esperanza, the author and illustrator of this gorgeous book, Kicks in the Sky. C.G., the arts, especially bold colors, bright music, rhythms, rhymes, and whimsical illustrations, are woven into everything you do. How have the arts been a doorway, opening new opportunities throughout your life?
Thank you for the amazing introduction, Sherry. When I started doing art, I would have an excuse to just be as curious as possible. I could say, how do I draw a cat? So I would just stare at a cat for an hour and just understand all the little things about what makes a cat look like a cat. And because of that, I've been able to just explore a lot of things that I might not have if I wasn't an artist.
C.G., you often talk about the importance of observation, urging kids to look around and see everyday scenes in a new light. In this book, shoes hang on telephone wires above the street. What made you decide to focus on kicks when writing this book?
Great question. Well, I like to put a spotlight on things that people don't really pay attention to, but just make home feel like home. So in one book, I focused on the art that's on the walls when you walk around the city. So another thing that I noticed that was just so eye-catching and beautiful, but nobody really talked about were the sneakers hanging on the telephone wires. And I just started creating in my head so many different reasons as to why the sneakers were up there. So it just inspired me so much to make a story.
It is exciting to think how the kicks got on the wire. Charles, we are excited to hear this story and see the vibrant illustrations. Please read Kicks in the Sky.
Okay, so I would like to present to all of you Kicks in the Sky by me, C.G. Esperanza, aka Shalaranza. High above the street where birds sang in a choir, karu karu, a cluster of kicks swung from a wire. Red kicks, green kicks, yellow kicks, blue. How'd they get up there? Only the birds knew. Rainbow laces tightly tangled in a knot. These were the coolest kicks on the whole entire block. Chris stopped to stare at the psychedelic pairs. Yo, 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 how those kicks get up there? Vroom, vroom, a motorbike parade zoomed by. The loud vroom, vroom rattled birds into the sky. Flap, flip, pigeons fled and the wire bounced around. The kicks went flying and they landed on the ground. Red kicks, green kicks, yellow kicks, blue. The kids picked apart twisted knots on the shoes. Twist, tug, yank, 1, 2, 3. Soon the rainbow laces were all tangled free. Blue kicks, green kicks, orange kicks, red. Would you rock yellow kicks or purple instead? Danny picked a pair, fixed the laces and straps. Then Danny danced the shuffle while friends hollered and clapped. Strangely enough, Danny never learned to dance, but his feet moved to beats in a magical trance. Two-step slide and the moonwalk too. Was Danny really dancing or could it be the shoes? Chris tried a pair with a pump on the tongue. She pushed the pump twice, then she started to run. Suddenly, Chris jumped high into the sky, over a truck, along birds flying by. Slam dunk, the kids began to chant. I can't play ball, Chris yelled with a pant, but her friends passed the ball as she jumped toward the rim. Alley-oop, slam dunk through the hoop for the win. Lily found a pair way too big for her to wear, so instead she wore a kick like a helmet over her hair. She found a skateboard and now knew every trick. Ollie heel flip, could it be her magic kicks? Why would such amazing kicks be hung up in the street? Who wouldn't want these cool shoes up on their feet? Botanica lady shrieked, those kicks are possessed by people who love them, but then were laid to rest. Aliens hung them there, yelled Miss Nancy upstairs. I saw their spaceship drop down a couple pairs. El Bujonero cried. Those kicks were hung up in the street, so all the goons and goblins knew where to meet. Pigeon coop, kid squawk, lolly from the roof, jump and dance in the shoes if you want to know the truth. He tossed a bunch of crumbs like confetti in the air. They sprinkled every kick, pepper in every pear. Coo, coo! More kicks fell while birds scrambled for the bread. Now other kids could try them on their feet or on their heads. Some people wore mismatched pairs just for fun. Their kicks began to glow as the moon replaced the sun. Ready, set, go! The kids jumped, ran, and danced. Break dancing in midair, you think they're flying at a glance. Rainbow laces fluttered like streamers in the wind as souls flew through the clouds into the street again. They still weren't sure why these kicks were hung about, so they tossed them back up for future kids to figure out. Red kicks, green kicks, yellow kicks, blue. How they get up there, only the birds knew. And that is the end.
Thank you, CG. Wow, what a great story. Let's spend a moment talking about the rhyme and the rhythm in the book. What inspired you to write this story as a poem? And why is rhyme such a powerful tool in storytelling?
When I was a kid, I didn't love reading. It took a lot of convincing to get me to really read a book. Some of my favorite books were all rhyming books. And also, I loved rap when I was a kid. And I would memorize every single song that my father would play on the radio, and it would make me really excited to hear. I said, what would get a younger version of myself to read my books? What would appeal to myself the most? And I said, if it was a rap song, I would have loved it as a kid. Just thinking about that idea made me want to make it into a rap song.
Charles, tell us more about Chris and Danny and when they put on the shoes, that magical thing that happened. Is it the kicks, the kids' inner confidence, or something else that turns Danny into a dancer and Chris into a basketball star?
Well, I think I would love for the readers to interpret that and think about what they think the answer to that question is. But if I were to answer it, I think it's a little bit of both. Sometimes when you put on a really cool new outfit or a really awesome pair of sneakers, something is unlocked within inside of you and it makes you a lot more confident. Sometimes you can jump higher than you did before or dance better than you did before. And who knows where this magic is coming from.
I love that, how confidence can give us superpowers we didn't know we had. This story is filled with mystery and magic. Everyone has a theory about how the shoes got on the line. One neighbor says they're possessed. One other says aliens hung them. Why do you leave us hanging by saying only birds knew? What does that phrase mean?
Sometimes when I tell a story, I don't want to give too much of my own ideas in the story, because once you put something out in the world, so many people see it so many different ways. And I would love to get their ideas on what the story means to them and how they envision my words. So the birds, I think that there's such an amazing history of pigeons, especially in New York City. Pigeons are so intelligent. One of my best friends in New York City, Mother Pigeon, she's taught me so much about what pigeons do in the city and how important they are to the city. And so I realized that the pigeons are the true story keepers of everything that happens on the streets of New York. They see everything from the ground to the sky. And if anyone knew, it would have to be the pigeons.
I love that. All-knowing pigeons see everything in the city. Fantastic. And I love how you leave that mystery and that open space in the story so that the reader really has a role in understanding possibilities. How did the shoes get there? And we can each contribute our own thoughts to the story. It's lovely. I'm excited that Charles is now going to do a hands-on art demonstration of how we can create colorful kicks. Charles, your illustrations are visually rich, playful, and energetic. I love how the kicks in this book radiate your special style. So please show us how to draw a shoe with the bold colors and lively patterns that make them magical.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to work with all of you and draw a sneaker. I love drawing sneakers, as you'll see in the book Kicks in the Sky. So I'm gonna give you a step-by-step process on how I like to draw a sneaker. This should be really easy because I know all of you great artists out there. So the first thing I wanna do is grab my gel crayons, which I love using. And they're just like crayons, except they give you a much bigger mark. And so the first thing I do is I draw the toe of the shoe. There we go. And so it doesn't look like much yet, but that's just step one. And then after that, I want to draw the back of the shoe. So how I do that is come right here, and then the shoe goes up, and then I come down. So now you have the toe of the shoe and the back of the shoe. And then the next step is drawing the tongue of the shoe. So shoes have tongues, and that tongue is right here. And this is like the tongue that Chris pressed the pump on that made her jump higher. And so after we've drawn the tongue, the next thing we want to do is draw the sole of the shoe. The sole is one of the most important parts of the shoe because you couldn't walk outside without it. And so the sole goes right under the shoe. And so the next step is adding a little decoration to the back of them. So I like to do some triangles. And that's just to make them look a little cooler. And then after you add the triangles, what I like to do is add a little wave to the toe of the shoe. Kind of like a wave at the beach. And that makes the toe look a little cooler. And then once you've added that, the next thing is to add the laces. So the laces, you add a little loop-de-loop, and then 2 little circles right there to make it look like your shoe is all laced up. And then one of the last things you want to do is you want to add some dots that'll be where your laces might go through. And then maybe some laces on the toe, because some sneakers have little dots on the toe so that your feet can get some air. I think that's why they're there. Your guess is as good as mine. And last step I like to do is add a little line right here. And then voila, you have the line work of your sneaker done. And if your sneaker doesn't look exactly like mine, don't worry about it. It's all good. We are all drawing our own sneaker, so it can look almost totally different from mine. And so the next thing I like to do is I like to use some of these paint sticks. These sticks feel actually just like I'm painting with a paintbrush. They're really fun to use. So I think I'm gonna make the sole of the shoe. I'm going to paint the sole of the shoe red and see how it just smooths right on, just like paint. Really easy to color with. Here we have a red sole. And so my next thing I want to do is color the tongue of the shoe. What color do you think I should make the tongue of the shoe? I think I heard someone say green. So there we go, we have a green tongue. And now we have to color the laces. And so I think maybe the laces should match the sole. So I'm gonna color that with red. as well. Go. And so I actually want to use some of my glitter crayons because I love when things are shiny and sparkly. Do any of you like shiny, sparkly things? So this one is a really glittery purple. So I made one part of my triangle. And in this part of the sneaker, I want you to kind of make your own design. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of triangles within the triangle. So make your own pattern in this part of the sneaker. And use as many colors as you want for your pattern. And then the same thing with the other triangle. I'm actually going to draw some teeth and color those in. Now, remember, you don't have to do the same pattern I'm doing. In this part of the shoe, you can color it whichever way you want. Now I'm gonna add some green. When it comes to sneakers, for me, it's the more colors, the better. There we go. And then remember how I mentioned before that we have a wave, kind of like the water in the front of the shoe. So maybe we can color that blue to really give it that wavy feeling. And then what I like to do is color this part orange because orange complements blue. And then the last part that I want to color is the back of the shoe. And I'm gonna do that with my yellow paint crayon, paint stick. And so this is a really big space. So the paint stick is the best thing to use for a really big space because it covers so fast. And then voila, you have yourself a sneaker. Now you can maybe one day design this and wear it outside for real. I hope all of you had fun and keep drawing.
Love that. You've just inspired a whole new generation of sneaker designers. Now that you've seen Charles' wonderful illustration of the colorful kick, it's your time to draw. So grab some crayons, watercolors, markers, and paper, and think about how you will draw your colorful kick. While kids of all ages are busy drawing, I want to mention that parents and teachers can be the first to know about the next Crayola Art of Learning program and other free colorful learning experiences by signing up for the Crayola Education monthly e-newsletter. Just check Education box when you visit this page. After this session, young artists will have plenty of time to finish their art. We recommend that parents and teachers ask children about their drawings and what colorful scenes and what beautiful kicks they see in their neighborhoods. Because as we talked about earlier, it really is observation of the world around you. Post a photo of the kids' art in the comment section of this video. We can't wait to see what they create. Charles, most of our viewers will be heading back to school soon, where they're going to see classmates, new shoes and new clothes. Please offer some advice to remind people that the magic comes from within us, not in what we wear.
Definitely. So the thing about Kicks in the Sky is that these sneakers didn't come from a store. These are sneakers that are probably really old and have been hanging on a wire for a long time. So they're not the newest sneakers, they're not the coolest looking sneakers, but the kids who own them see the beauty in them because they think they're beautiful. Who's to say they're not beautiful? So anything that you think is beautiful, if that's your opinion, then so be it.
We want to thank Charles C.G. Esperanza for inspiring us today. And we also want to thank Harper Kids for collaborating with us on this Art of Learning program. And we want to share a special thanks for all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Goodbye, everyone. It was so amazing working with you today. I hope you have been inspired and go out and create amazing things.
Bye-bye.